Hey guys, what's going on? It's been a while, took a few months off. Actually, I was traveling, and honestly, I just didn't feel like looking at the computer all day. I did about 200 videos when I started this channel, and yeah, I was just basically living near the beach, and I just kind of wanted to enjoy myself. But now I'm back in Canada. It's kind of boring here. I'm visiting my family, so I figure, this is probably a good time to just start pumping out some more videos. And it's going to be kind of interesting because I took several months off from doing these TA videos, and I still have these charts marked up, so we can see how accurate I was, and we can see basically how the price is reacting to these levels that I have marked on the chart. Now, the first video I want to start with is Fantom, and I want to do Fantom just because when I started this channel, Fantom was the first coin I ever did. So yeah, my first video back, I figured I'd take a look at Fantom once again. Now, one thing worth mentioning about Fantom is it's going to have a rebrand, so it's no longer, I don't think it's going to be called Fantom anymore. I think they're going to start calling it Sonic, okay, and they're going to get a new ticker as well, so the ticker is going to be just S, and along with that, I think they're going to get a new chart as well. But I still want to take a look at this because I'm not sure if they're going to get a new chart. And a lot of people are saying that this chart is just horrible, and getting a new clean chart without the resistances that we're facing is going to be very beneficial for the project. But you know what? This chart is not as bad as people think it is, right? So if you switch it to logarithmic, it's quite technical. So here you have your 5 waves up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you have your correction down. You have basically this bottoming out formation right here. And we recently broke out of this downsloping level of resistance, retested it, and now we're making our way back up. And you see we made a higher high in relation to this peak right here. When that happened, we basically changed the trend. So we are now in a bullish trend. I know that probably sounds kind of funny because the altcoin market has been lagging so much. But guys, if you look at how the altcoins performed in relation to the previous cycles and the previous Bitcoin halvings, the altcoin market only really starts ripping after Bitcoin makes a new high and is in price discovery. Right now, Bitcoin currently is just trying to break out and get into that range. So while the altcoin market is lagging, it's nothing out of the ordinary given where we are in the cycle. Okay, now let's look at Fantom. So I had these levels marked, and right here, obviously this cluster of support, I mentioned that as the price approaches it from below, it's going to be a major level of resistance, right? So that's just trading 101. Broken levels of support will then be resistance. And you see when we came up here, if you guys had this marked on your chart, then this was an excellent short opportunity. You would have probably made a lot, especially if you used a little bit of leverage here. But yeah, the price came up and just got rejected violently. And the same principle applies down here. Here it's when the price breaks through an established level of support, it becomes resistance. Likewise, when you break an established level of resistance, which is what this zone was, and the price comes back to it, it becomes a support. So now this block, actually I should probably extend this out a bit. There we go. Now this is the range that we're operating within, right? We have this upper level of resistance. We have this lower level of support. And yeah, the price is kind of just doing its thing within this range. Now, with this being an established level of support now, this broken level of resistance, then if the price does make its way back down here, then this would most likely be a pretty good buying opportunity. Now I'll extend this out a little bit. And there's a very significant trend line that you should mark on your chart, and that stems from this peak here. It's an upsloping trend line, and you see, so let's just follow it. So it was resistance right here. It was support right here, support right here, support again right here. So if the price makes it back down and basically comes to this line, that's going to be a pretty good trade setup if you wanted to buy off this support line. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to change the time frame, and we had a bit of a pennant formation, but unfortunately the price has just broken below it. So you see we had this downsloping level of resistance, and we had this upsloping level of support with multiple touches on it. Recently the price broke down below and came back up, and now this line is going to be a resistance. Okay, so definitely if you're trading Fantom, you want to mark this on your chart. And we also had this lower level of support right here on the daily time frame. You see this horizontal line, it was support all throughout here. You see like the price would come below, but by the time the candle closed, buyers would step in, defend the level, and the candle bodies would close above this horizontal line, right? Well, we recently broke below it. You see right here with this cluster, now we're closing candle bodies below this horizontal support line. But given where the price is right now, we are currently above it. So this is not technically a resistance right now, but the fact that we are starting to close candle bodies below this line is a sign of weakness. However, where we are getting supported right now, it stems back to the candle bodies right here. So I'm going to take a horizontal ray. Let's paste it right at these candle bodies here. And you see this is what's holding us up right now. So now, while we are getting the candle bodies closing below this upper line, we still have not lost this region entirely because we are getting supported by the trend line based on these candle bodies right here. So what I like to do in this situation is I like to draw it as a range. So I'll take my rectangle shape creator tool here, and I'm just going to mark this out. This here is the range that we're working within right now. Okay, so we don't want to lose this. If we start closing a candle body below the lower line of this range, then the likelihood of falling down here is going to be much higher, okay? So while I may or may not look to open a short in that scenario, I definitely would not be opening any new longs if we start closing candle bodies below here, okay? Big sign of weakness. Okay, if I were to enter a long right now, I'd place a stop loss below, probably below this wick, and I would target this broken level of support as a resistance. So here would be my take profit. Likewise, if we are able to break above and start closing candles above this resistance line, then I would look to enter a long once again. And then the resistance levels based off that trade are going to be right here, this midline. As you can see, this was resistance right here. It was support all through here. So approaching it from underneath once again, this level is going to be resistance, potential region to take a short. And then if you start closing daily candles above here, then I'll look to this next level, which would be this downsloping trend line. Now, if we're able to start closing candle bodies above this line, then that's going to be a great trade setup, and you can target this upper range right here. So yeah, to summarize, guys, right now we're just in this range, this broader range, and then we have a few resistance and support lines in the middle of it, right, that you can place trades off of. Let's take it back out to the weekly time frame. And yeah, overall, this does not look bad. It's kind of like where we would expect to be at this phase in the cycle. And then obviously, if we break through this upper region right here at around the $1.20 level, then I would expect an explosive move up to the $3 range to test the previous highs up here. All right, guys, so if you want to trade Fantom, these are the levels that I recommend you draw on your chart. Of course, I forgot to mention this one right here, this horizontal support line at around 16 cents, but I don't think we're going to make it back down there, right? That's not really relevant. And yeah, Fantom is one I expect to do quite well, given the upgrade to the network and the rebrand, right? So in 2017 cycle, people absolutely love the rebrands. If a project does a major upgrade or a rebrand during the bull market, it's just something that people can get behind, and then it typically will pump. Okay, a couple things that I should mention before I sign out here. If you want a place to trade Fantom, I put the link to 2 different exchanges in both the pinned comment and the description. If you use those links, you can get a sign-up bonus, and these are the exchanges that I personally trade on. Also, I'm not sure if you guys are into quote-unquote farming airdrops, but people have been making really good money with this. Granted, recently, a lot of the airdrops have been flops, but one that was really good and you didn't really have to do much to get, it's called EtherFi. All you do is deposit some Ether, and anybody who deposited any sort of Ether on the last round, they got 175 EtherFi tokens, and they went to about $8 each. So that was over $1,000. So someone could have deposited just a few $100s of ETH on EtherFi, and they would have got over $1,000 airdrop. Now that was season 1. EtherFi is going to do another airdrop soon for season 2. So I'm going to put a link to that as well. If you want to participate in season 2, you can check that out. You can deposit some ETH, and yeah, you can potentially qualify yourself for the next season of the airdrop, and maybe you'll get maybe $1,000 drop if it's similar to the season 1. Anyway, guys, hopefully you found that helpful. Take care. Bye.